All right, welcome back to the Morning Bell. My name is Joanne, of course, together with Raj Arya. I'm not going to take much of a time. I'm just going to introduce our guest today. First up, we have Zamri Tembol, which is the president of Autisme Malaysia, and we have Haja Mustajab, a mother of an autistic child, and I heard you're an architect yourself.
Yes, I am.
So, whenever it comes to this segment, we've always asked our guests to share with us a bit about their background. Can I go to the ladies first?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Hi, I have a son, Najib, who's 7 years old, whom we have officially diagnosed having autism when he was about 3 years old. So, but we found out about his condition as early as about 8 months, because we noticed that his development milestone is not there. Although the pediatrician did mention that, you know, it's normal that some kids are delayed, some kids are not, but we try to tackle it as early as possible. Can't deny it, at one time I was in denial for long months, but I still move on with together with my husband. We work it out together and find ways to approach the situation. Then we start looking through the internet, and at first you felt alone. You thought that you're the only one who's facing that problem, nobody else. You start comparing your child with other children, and then you see that no, he's different, he walks differently, he reacts differently, he doesn't say hello to you back. You know, you try to say hi or bye, you know, he just have this very serious face on him. It's like he's the most serious child that I've ever known. That was the beginning of our suspicion. That was the start of it.
How many children do you have?
We have two,
You have
and
two.
Najib is the second.
It's the second one. So your first one was
She's atypical. Atypical child. We don't call it normal, we call it atypical, because we don't want to call children with autism as abnormal. Normal, abnormal, doesn't sound right.
How old is she? Yeah?
She's 8. Yeah, she's 8. Najib
Right.
is 7.
Right. How's the interaction like? Huh?
That's very interesting, because a lot of siblings, sometimes they try to avoid each other, or parents are trying to split them, or mollycoddle the special child.
Sure.
But we realize that no matter what, the siblings will have to work together. We'll have to look after the special brother or the special sister. So we allow them, we force them to be together all the time, make them miss each other if they are not together. So we let them, always the sister will be the one who is approaching the brother, because the brother would always ignore the surrounding, not doing anything, and it's the sister who keeps on prodding him. In the early stage, some children with autism would ignore. Sometimes that's why some of them got abused, because they are not able to tell you.
Can't
that
express
they
themselves?
can't express themselves. They can't. In fact, some are not sure whether they should cry or whether they should laugh, because they don't understand the term. They don't understand the
emotions,
feeling, the emotion aspects. So we have to teach them. In fact, we even have the social cards to show how to smile.
Really? Wow.
So it's like, smile, Najib, smile. This is smiling. You know, how do you cry? That's crying. Because at times, you know, even until now, when he's crying, I would say to him, Najib, you're crying. He would stop. Then he cries.
Right.
The
It's like
normal
what? Stop to
cry.
think.
Yeah, he stopped to think. Like, even at this moment, the academically crying and the real crying, they can't connect the two together.
Very, very interesting.
So that we have to teach them what's real and what's academic, or what's in the cartoon, or what's...
So you are an architect yourself.
Yes.
What about your husband?
My husband is in IT, so he runs his own business, so I too run my own business.
Okay, which is excellent. Now, okay, let's move on to Zamri. You're the president of Autism Malaysia. Can you just tell us a bit about your personal background before you became the president?
Okay. Myself also have a son with autism. Now he is 12 years old, diagnosed when he was 3 years old. So He also has what call it ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity.
So that means it's very
disorder.
hyper,
Very
cannot sit
hyper.
still. So it's the opposite, right?
Same thing too.
It's a combine of autism and ADHD. ADHD is a different thing with autism.
That's
but,
right.
autism can have ADHD. So my son have autism with ADHD, right? So when he was first diagnosed, I seem like Mumtazah, feeling lonely in this world.
Yeah.
Nobody else can help us. Like we are alone. Then our morale is a bit low. So it took us, me and my wife, about a year plus to get up and see, hey, stop. We have to do something
Well said, well said.
for our son.
What were you doing at that time?
At that time, it's based on reading. And poor thing, the reading is all from West.
Yeah.
That's
US,
right.
Europe,
That's right,
Japan.
that's right.
So that is started. I created a Facebook group, Autisme Malaysia.
Right.
Begin with a few families from Johor, a few less than 5 families.
Right.
So from there it started. So I myself working as involved in IT. So at that point of time, it's quite hectic with work. So less attention with my sons.
Right. Now, we all know that for some viewers out there, autism, they may have heard of it, but they may not understand.
Correct.
Can you
It's
just
true.
share with us what is autism basically, Zamri?
Okay. Autism basically have impairment of 3 areas, which is social, communications, and imaginations. These 3 areas. It can be all, it can be partial.
Sure.
Right? So, to recognize the autism is not from the physical outlook, it's from the behavior.
Psychological? Would it be in some parts?
Yes,
Some
but
parts, yeah.
so the characteristic that we can share is like the first thing that easily to recognize is eye contact.
Oh, they don't make eye
They don't.
contact.
They have lack eye contact.
Okay.
When talk to people, they
Just look
talk.
at someone else.
Look at someone. Look at the floor.
Yes.
Anywhere.
Look anywhere except eye to eye. Right,
Yes.
right.
And then lack of attentions. When we want to teach them, they don't
They
pay
have
attention.
much,
Disinterested,
But their attention is in different way. Listening,
Right.
like visual. When we talk to them, they don't look to us. They don't see us, but they listen to us. So there is the some of the characteristic.
Is it a very complex kind of thing?
Autism has they categorize it into 3. What we call it? Low, mild, and severe.
Right.
So low, it can be as low as they just cannot socialize with people. Mild, cannot socialize and unable to they have a few more characteristics like hand flapping, hyperactive, those kind of things.
Shouting,
So
tantrum.
So severe, it can be like they can't control their bodies.
Break things,
Break
macam budak
things,
nakal lah.
like
Yes, self-inflicting.
Oh, okay.
It can be
Yeah.
up to
They
that
hurt
stage.
themselves?
Yes,
Yes.
and they may not even realize that's what they're doing.
They don't feel the pain?
Yes.
I think they feel the
Because
pain, but they
they
don't
can't
realize what
Like
they,
laughing and talking,
Yeah.
smiling, they
Perhaps
don't
when they
know.
are hurt, they will just think that it's normal to have this
Yes,
feeling.
that's why
Yes,
when
yes.
they're hurt,
Sensation.
you have to teach them that pain. This is
That's
pain, you know.
Not
Because
good, not good.
It's not good. Always try to say not good is not really not good. But you gotta show positive
Oh,
attitude
okay,
to
right.
them, you know. So you actually have to teach them about emotion. That's why they have communication and social problems. The emotional part is sorely lacking. So
Okay.
it gets worse when as they grow older.
Right.
Okay. Right. We gotta take a little short commercial break now. Well, if you know what is autism all about, you can always email us at updates@capitaltv.my or tweet us at @thecapitaltv. Very, very quick commercial break we're gonna take, and we'll be right back after this.
Hi, and you're back on Morning Bell, where we're talking about autism. Now, we all know that autism has a lot of research and a lot of knowledge has been done in the West. But in Malaysia, it's still something relatively new by comparison, especially the part about diagnosing it, because it's quite subjective. So, in your case, when both your kids were 3 years old, how did the diagnosis process take? I heard they could take up to 3 months because... Or more, that's right.
Yes.
Can you just share with us your experience?
First thing first, not all pediatricians actually understand autism. If the pediatrician is sensitive, then they may suggest that you to go to a specific pediatrician or certain psychiatrist. And from then on, they need 3 to 6 months of observation. They may send you to occupational therapist or a speech therapist. This therapist will observe the child, maybe teach a little bit, and then will give the report to the physician or the specialist, doctors most of the time. And then these doctors will come up with a report that diagnose, yes, your child has autism. That one happens in hospitals a lot of time. But there are some NGOs that actually offer this kind of service, like NASOM, National Autism Society of Malaysia, and they come up with a form that you have to fill in. Your child, does certain things,
checklists
and everything. This is actually, some of the checklists are actually quite international standards. Some actually based on their experience they've added on. And then the psychologist will assess the child for an hour or so, and then she will come up with a report. That report will then, we take it to the doctor, which is normally a government doctor. For us, we took Najib to Hospital Selayang. They have this center which is called Mekar, which is specifically for special children. And we will go through a lot of therapy sessions with them. But most importantly for children, especially when they found out at an early age, is to join the early intervention program, which is offered in some schools, also in some of the pra-pendidikan khas, in some special schools under the government, but even then it's not good enough. In this early intervention program, they'll start training the children so that by the time they reach 6 or 7 years old, they should be okay to go to mainstream. But not all the time is like that. There are some severe cases that they're not able to do so.
So it's more like homeschool or special schools?
Special school or special therapies. Some do that.
Some school. But one thing
very expensive.
That's true. But one thing in Malaysia, they're severely lacking in institutions, and of course you need trained teachers, because to be able to handle this kind of kids rather than the mainstream schooling system, right?
Because they would not know how to handle...
There are certain institutions in Malaysia that has this training program to teach, to train therapists, special education teachers for not just autism but also other disability as well.
Well, Zamri, actually what are the percentage of, like, let's say 10 in 10 children?
Okay, in Malaysia we don't have latest statistic, but in 2004, right, is 1/600.
Right. Out of every 600 kids, one will be autistic.
That is the Malaysian statistic back to 2004. But in US now is 1/88.
Oh, that's quite high.
Yes.
Is it a genetic thing, or is it environment?
Latest research by the American team was that it's a combination of genetic and the environment.
Right.
So sometimes it's, I'm not saying it's true by line, but you know, you are what you eat. So you eat junk, you become a junkie. You don't eat properly. You don't look after your kandungan. You have a bit of problem. So that's one of it. There are a lot of other theories like the injections, the 3M injections and everything, but those are just theories at the moment. But by the end of the day, whether once the baby is born, it's yours.
That's right.
who else are going to look after?
Well said.
It's only you.
Now, you mentioned the statistics in 2004, 1 out of 600. I think it could probably be a lot lower because I would imagine a lot goes unreported, especially in the rural area where parents are less educated and they think maybe the Buddha is just slow, you know, or nakal, or it's just normal, can't be helped, lah, you know.
Or later he can.
He will grow up and that kind of thing.
That statistic was taken locally in Perak, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So there was no specific statistics to be under.
That's right.
But I have to say, as an architect, we have started embarking into creating the Pusat Autism under the government, which is under Jabatan Perdana Menteri, under Permata, Program Permata. So we'll be creating the first for Asia, in fact.
Wow, really?
As a center for autism, where the children will be diagnosed and will be trained at an early stage, as early as 3 years old, until the age of 6 or 7, and then so that they are able to go to mainstream. So we're doing the design. It's due tomorrow, actually.
Right. Wow. Okay.
So can they be like recover? Like, let's say when they reach at the age of like teenage, would they be as no? It's life.
It's actually not. We call it not recover. It's they call
reduce
it what? The autism characteristics still in there, in them, but they overcome it.
More manageable.
More manageable, like the tantrums.
For
example, the typical tantrums that they start headbanging on the floor. And
they stop doing that, which would be a start.
they know how to control it. So if they feel uncomfortable with the surrounding, they just teach them to